in a bustling metropolis where shadows stretch long across the streets and the skyscrapers glimmer under the sun's reflection, a new hero has emerged. A hero who can traverse the city not through its alleys or rooftops, but through the very reflections that shimmer in windows, puddles and polished metal. His name is unknown to the public, but the few who have glimpsed him know him only as the Mirror Guardian. Our story begins with an ordinary man, Ethan Cross, an expert in quantum physics and optical sciences. Ethan was a brilliant mind, but his life was marked by loss and grief. Years ago, his sister Ava was kidnapped and never found, leaving him shattered. The case was closed and the police moved on, but Ethan could never let go of the past. He became obsessed with the idea of parallel dimensions and the concept of reflection as a doorway to other realms. In his relentless pursuit, he stumbled upon an ancient artifact, a mirror said to be forged by a forgotten civilization with knowledge of the multiverse. The mirror was unlike any other. Its surface was dark, almost like liquid mercury, and it seemed to pulse with a life of its own. One fateful night, as Ethan experimented with the artifact, something extraordinary happened. The mirror absorbed him, pulling him into a world where reflections were more than mere images. They were gateways. Ethan found himself in a place he called the reflection realm, a dimension where every reflective surface in the real world served as a portal. This realm was a mirror image of reality, but distorted, with echoes of the real world rippling through it. It was here that Ethan discovered his new abilities. He could traverse the reflection realm and re-emerge through any reflective surface in the real world. He could manipulate reflections, bending light to create illusions, and even use them as weapons. He realized that he had been given a gift, a power to help those in need and perhaps find his sister. Ethan adopted the persona of the Mirror Guardian, a figure who moved unseen through the city, fighting crime and protecting the innocent. His powers made him nearly invincible. He could appear and disappear at will, confusing criminals and leaving them in awe. The city was his playground, and every glass window, every mirror, and every puddle was a doorway he could use to travel. The first criminal to encounter the Mirror Guardian was a notorious thief known as the Phantom. He had eluded capture for years, his heists meticulously planned, and his escapes flawless. But when he broke into a high-end jewelry store one night, something strange happened. As he reached for a diamond necklace, the glass display case rippled like water, and a hand emerged from within, grabbing his wrist. Startled, he tried to pull away, but it was too late. Ethan emerged from the glass, his figure partially translucent like a living reflection. With a swift motion, he disarmed him and threw him through the reflection realm, where the distorted world twisted and turned, disorienting him. When he finally re-emerged, he was in a jail cell, his loot gone, and his memory of the events a blur. The Mirror Guardian's abilities were vast and powerful. Ethan could enter any reflective surface and travel through the reflection realm, emerging from another reflective surface anywhere in the city. This ability allowed him to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time, making him a formidable opponent against any criminal. By manipulating light and reflections, Ethan could create illusions, making himself or others appear differently. He could make it seem as though there were multiple Mirror Guardians, disorienting his enemies and leading them into traps. Ethan could solidify reflections into physical objects, turning light into blades, shields, or other weapons. These weapons were as strong as steel and could be formed and reformed at will. Every reflective surface Ethan touched retained a memory of what had been reflected in it. By tapping into these memories, Ethan could see past events, allowing him to gather intelligence and track criminals who thought they had escaped unnoticed. In the reflection realm, Ethan could bend and manipulate the environment, creating pathways and barriers, trapping enemies in a maze of mirrors, or even pulling them into the reflection realm where they would be at his mercy. The confrontation between the Mirror Guardian and the Obsidian Order was inevitable. Ethan knew that if he was to have any hope of finding his sister and saving the city, he would have to take the fight to them. With the help of a few allies, other heroes who had been fighting the good fight, he launched an assault on the Obsidian Order's stronghold. The battle was intense, with reality bending and twisting as magic and reflections collided. He used every trick he had learned, every power at his disposal. He created armies of mirror soldiers, sent enemies spiraling through the reflection realm, and used illusions to confuse and distract. But the Obsidian Order was strong, their dark magic formidable. In the end, it came down to a showdown between Ethan and the leader of the Obsidian Order, a sorcerer known as Tenebris. He is a master of shadows, and his power was almost a match for Ethan's. They fought across dimensions, their battle tearing through the reflection realm and spilling into the real world. But he had something Tenebris didn't: hope. Hope that he could find his sister, hope that he could save the city, and hope that he could make a difference. With one final push, he channeled all his power into a single blinding burst of light, shattering the mirrors around them and engulfing Tenebris in a vortex of reflections. When the light faded, Tenebris was gone, his power broken, and the Obsidian Order scattered. Ethan stood victorious, but his journey was far from over. He had won the battle, but the war against crime and darkness continued. And somewhere out there, in the vast reflection of the world, his sister was still waiting to be found. The Mirror Guardian became a legend in the city, a hero who could be everywhere and nowhere, who fought crime with the power of reflections and light. He is Ethan Cross, once a man consumed by grief and loss, had found a new purpose. He would continue to fight, to protect the innocent, and to search for his sister. The city was vast, with countless reflections waiting to be explored, and as long as there was light, there would be the Mirror Guardian, watching over the city, ready to strike from the shadows.